Hi, everybody. Monday on Astral Oracles. Yours truly have been undergoing a lot of very powerful and surprising mystical experiences over Easter, and I'm sort of integrating those after being back from the center of the cyclone. So that is probably something that you can recognize, like these deep, profound experiences that you've come up against in your life, and often they're connected to near death experiences or kind of feelings of end of the road, and where then this transformation takes hold of you and shifts you into place. But that's all well and good, and that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I am here to talk about is the weirdness that lies beyond these experiences, the illuminated being. So you can go back and listen to the most recent video I did, which was an 11D meditation with the Elohim, which is born out of that experience and that perspective. I'm realizing around the work that I do and the channeling practice that this is the frequency range that I connected into, setting out channeling, and it's the frequency range that's the most natural to me to connect to, is the 11th dimensional frequency range. And the 11th dimension is a strange place, because it is this soap bubble, um, strange generative place where the probabilities that can go into creating a closed type of developmental system, which a universe is, and that they seem to conglomerate, and out of this chaotic hyperdimensional soup, then existences come to be, and within these universes, then there is, of course, all the generation that we know from our own universe, these very complex developmental processes that we are embedded in and somehow observing from within as they transpire. A circumstance, a fact that's always relevant to return to, is of course that the more we look out, um, the more we also become aware that still the most complex type of matter and the most complex type of physical processes that we are aware of in the universe take place within the human physiognomy itself. So how consciousness arises, how it's related to the human body, is something that we don't have explanations for, and we sort of have different models, but none of them really seem to take the entirety into account. And that's of course where mystical realization comes into play, because these are these mending experiences where things come together and you see the big perspective of it. Um, but as it has been revealed unto me and unto you in many channelings, then the 11th dimension is also to be understood as these universal imprints where creation, universe, matter, and personality meet each other. And this is the imprint, the messianic imprint, or the imprint of the bodhisattva. Um, so the illuminated, fully completed human being at the end of time and space, the Alpha and Omega, that ring, and the realization that I'm circling here is that is one single unified consciousness. So we are in a sense only one person, and I know all these platitudes and realizations of we're all one and we're all interconnected, and it's just one consciousness having its having separate experiences, uh, but this consciousness is willful. It's not dormant at the end of time. It's already orchestrating and creating everything, and this is the image of the divine unity as it appears to us in the eon of Horus, as Crowley told us. It was upon us about 100 years ago. So the image of the resuscitated God, right? The image of the unified principle of the masculine transcendence and the feminine immanence that's expressed in Osiris and Isis. That's then expressed in the, the the child that is at play in the Eon, the god of Horus, and that is again one unified consciousness, and this consciousness is fully aware of everything that goes on, and lies beyond the totality of the universe, and is creating within its being all these experiences, which means that you are a type of limb of this being that's extending itself into to time, operating and moving things about in order for these realizations to be generated. And what seems to be the purpose, the end game of that, at least from our current perspective, is to move every human being that has ever been into the shared state of human illumination. Like this kind of terminal experience that seems to await us all, sitting before the Bodhi tree, right? Like that, that weird image of the human project releasing itself by uniting fully with its own awareness. And that's what this playful super consciousness is doing. And here comes then, let's say, the scarier or the very dissonant parts is a well, why is it doing this? It's a kind of game, and it is a kind of competition. Uh, and this is where you might get into like Lovecraftian intelligences, right? Like these great, very otherworldly, very immoral creator intelligences that lie beyond the known universes and that reside in the 11th dimension. And there is the illuminated human being, but there we are joined by this like it is this kind of strange elaborate council of perfected sentient beings that are uh, gods, to use to appropriate them in those terms that we can perhaps understand, but infinite vast intelligences that are um, somehow orchestrated in bodies, in hyperdimensional structures that resemble our bodies, but that encompass within them the entirety of their potential creation. And they are kind of showing off to each other how the grand magnificent their creation of a celestial body, of a universe can be. And you might get into that strange enter player one mood, where it like the mood is almost like you and your mates taking turn at the controller, like that sense of just playing around with something, seeing what you can do with it. And in that space, like there are the ascended Arcturian being, and there's the ascended mantis being, and there's the ascended draconic being, and there's the ascended weavers, and again notice like how so many of these entities that I perhaps don't necessarily just tune my frequency to, but that seem to kind of want to come through me, are often like higher dimensional reptilian principles, or the weavers who are also 11D for instance. Um, so so these great hyperstructural intelligences, and there's something about them, the menses there, that seems to be very alive and present, because these hyperdimensional pirates, as I termed them, like these hackers that move into a creation, somehow the human creation, and is tinkering with it. Um, my sense of it is perhaps that these are actually the ones playing the game, making the human simulation. And um, like, are they mentees? Like, that's an insect on planet Earth, like type of insect on planet Earth, right? Not necessarily, but the reason that we approximate them with that is consider how the mantis body is. Um, it seems strangely disproportional, like considered compared to that naturalistic Greek vision of the discus for Michelangelo's David, like our idea of like the super harmonic human body, Venus de Milo, right? Like our idea of what's like a healthy physical construct is very, very different from like that carapaced strange mantis being, which can fly and operate but have these like strange disproportionate limbs, and seem to be um, that can kind of move in and of themselves and have like a almost cybernetic quality to it. So I like a lot of that alien disproportion that resides up in there in those dimensions where it's connected, and it's a perfect it's a perfect biological machine, just as we are for what it's supposed to do. But it is like it's oddly alien, and um, its morals are also such that it doesn't mind too much snapping the head of its mate if that's what it takes to keep procreation going. So in that way, also understanding that these generative intelligences, this is why I call them Lovecraftian, right? Like they don't really belong to our parameters of what might be good, and these are perhaps in many ways the beings that that lie slightly beyond the God of our father Abraham, right? Like they are not necessarily somebody who's too invested in the goings on of human endeavors, but instead are like playing this deep game of transformation. Um, and that's what's driving through us at the moment, right? Those are the energies of the time, the place in the turning of the eons that we are as individuals in time experiencing it right now. We are more in a set where it's time is out of joint, as Shakespeare said, right? It's it's disconnected, and we're going through all these transformative experiences to kind of find a newer way of proportion and adjustment that can allow us to be with these energies. Um, so the transformation is very much upon us, and a lot of it has to do with understanding that we are limbs of this divine intelligence that's expressing and working itself through time, and that is at an incredibly rapid pace, seen from the perspective of history, accelerating itself into self awareness and action. Um, and it will be very interesting to see how we as humanity will begin to behave once we're all sort of connected up into that hive mind, while still, of course, being um, individual bodies, though more highly energized. So I think that was also just, for me to try to map out and share some of these visions that have been uh, moving into awareness here, and I hope that serve you. And I could channel a lot of 11th dimensional entities, and you can go back and find a lot of them, and there are of course more to come. But I hope that served you and resonated you, and if you're also kind of going in and out of the void at the moment, I do hope that you also sense the cosmic balance that's somehow working itself out to you. So lots of love to you out there, guys.